What's up, YouTube? This is the user defense video you all have been waiting for. I'm going to play Stanford Cardinals against LSU. I'm picking Stanford because they run the spread offense and hoping that I can get a good amount of pass defense going. Didn't really want to play against a team that was going to pound the rock. Man, I guess I'll play on Heisman. Bear with me a little bit here. I'm kind of stuck doing commentary from my laptop with no mic. I have my Turtle Beaches, but I can't really think of a way to get it set up how everybody else does it, because my MacBook for some odd reason has no mic input port, which makes no sense to me, but whatever. I'll make do with what I do have.
Well, Brad, one of the things with this defense is you leave yourself vulnerable.
Alright, so now that I put a touchdown up on the board, let's get right into this user defense. Guess it all starts with the kickoff. First of all, first thing I do, I always try to make sure that I kick the ball right down the middle. When kicking it to the left or the right, I've noticed that it seems a lot easier to return kicks. And as you can see here, I'm trying to maneuver with my tight end. One thing you don't want to do is on kick return, try to switch who you're controlling 5-6 times while you're on kick return, because what you end up doing is giving up a big play by missing a tackle. So right here, they're in a 3 wide receiver set with a tight end. I'll assume it's going to be some kind of spread because they run a spread. So I come out in a 2-man under. Not spread, but something with a tight end out as a wide out. So I didn't get a chance to switch right there, so I'm kind of at the computer's discretion. Guess the man coverage was pretty solid because I came up with a cover sack. They're going to come out in the same 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end set. So once again, I'm going to try them again with the man coverage on 2nd and 18. I don't see them converting on 2nd and 18 with some type of a slant route. That would be a really deep slant route. So we have the tight end lined up right here. I'm pretty sure he's going to run a slant. I'm going to use it with the free safety on the tight end side of the field, if I could have gotten there, but I didn't. So that's twice. As you can see, I've gotten caught switching my defender pre-play. That's something that you don't want to get caught doing if you're setting up exotic blitzes or just different things on defense, because if you get caught out of position, you're at the computer's whims. So here we go again. I'm sure it's going to be the same formation. Tight end's going to probably run a slant. I'm going to use him, back him up, and I get caught again. Jesus. Right there, when they lob it up like that, you want to hold the left trigger and get into position, and then you want to try to pick it off with Y. You don't want to just run into it. Right here, as you can see, right when I get control, balls in the air, I switch, and you see I strafe up, left trigger, and then I try to get with the Y. For some reason they drop those. I don't understand how anyone can drop an interception like that in real life, but whatever.
So it's 4th down. They come out in a punt formation.
Guess I'll speak a little bit on offense about defense. Hope I don't confuse you all too much. But like I was saying, when you're setting up your defense, let's say maybe you're in a 2-man under and the guy is killing you with these crazy crossing routes.
Up 7 points.
You don't want to set up something with the 2-man under, like you put the strong safeties in a purple zone or something like that, and then you get caught switching and you're on a defensive lineman, because then you can't cover anything. It's just the computer against the user. So you always want to be quick with your pre-play setup. That's people are quick. They call it quick hiking, and if you get quick hike, it's usually a pretty bad outcome for you. Second thing is you want to pay attention to the personnel on the field, and you want to pay attention to the formation setup. Like I just showed you all, this is probably going to be bad, but like I showed you all, they had a tight end on the trip side of the field. And I don't know of many plays in this game where you have a trip set and your inside tight end is going to run a post corner or anything to that side of the field. And I guess I can show you right here. It's not the same formation, but it's close enough. As you can see, the tight end's running a flat route on the X play. On the Y play, he's running a drag. Like I said, he never goes post corner. It's always going to be something to the middle of the field. But like those are things you learn by just playing the game and kind of having common sense. Like that slot receiver in the middle is going to be the guy always trying to run the post corner over there.
Caught with room to work.
So you use that to your advantage when you're setting your plays up. You know, either he's going to go flat and get 2 or 3 yards, or he's going to go to the middle. So that's your first read. And most people, if they have a tight end lined up right there, they're going to throw it to the tight end. And those are the kind of things that I look at when someone's coming out in a trip set.
Here's the halfback. He makes his way to about the 28. So they go on the ground and pick up another first down.
They are stringing together a nice little drive here. If they keep this up, it'll be hard to keep them out of the end zone.
Trying to change the play. They'll throw on first down.
All right, so I'm back on defense, and they're coming out in that same 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end set. One thing I didn't say is if they do happen to run it in this formation, 9 times out of 10 it's going to go to the tight end side because he's there for extra blocking. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this middle linebacker over. And this is some kind of screen, I'm sure. No, I was wrong. But like I said, if you watch the play,
got a man wide open and it goes through his hands.
I knew the tight end was not going to this side of the field. It just doesn't happen. So the middle linebacker, I don't mind him being lined up over to the left because 9 times out of 10 this is where the tight end's route's going to go to. So that's covered. This guy right here is either going to run a post corner over here, a curl, an in route, or something like that. So this is my prime suspect on defense. This is the guy I'm paying attention to right here. I'm hoping that the computer can guard him, and I'm trying to take away this because this guy is not gonna go on a streak. Let's see. Exactly, that guy went on a streak, and this guy over here is probably gonna be running some type of a streak as well, or a curl. That's all you're gonna get. So like I said, that goes back to knowing the formation and knowing the type of plays that are in here. So when the CPU hiked the ball, I immediately looked at the tight end just to make sure he wasn't running anything over to the right side of the field because my middle linebacker wouldn't have made it in time. So hikes the ball, and tight end immediately turned into block. So first thing I thought in my head was, this is probably going to be some kind of screen. I guess wrong, but I didn't really have to pay a strong price for that. So the slot guy goes on a drag. As you can see, that's the first thing I attack. It's not always the brightest thing to do because this guy burnt my cornerback, but it's risk and reward. He ran a drag, so I came down to make sure, you know, he didn't get a step or two on my corner right here and break it down the field. So if my corner would have missed his tackle, I'd have been there for the cleanup duty. So you see the drag, I'm coming down, and he throws it right there. Good knockdown. So let's see what, this is 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 fullback. I'll probably come out in something like a 3-4 predator. 2nd and 10, a cover 3 should get the job done. Pinch my line in. I'll pinch my defensive line in because I'm almost positive they're not gonna. Sorry about that. I was almost positive they're probably not going to run to the outside, and if they tried to, I was in a zone, so I wasn't too scared of the outcome of that. And as you can see in instant replay, this guy right here was in a flat zone, so I know that if I'm using him, if I screw this play up, it won't be a big gain. as opposed to if I'm using the strong safety and I bite down on some type of a slant or a drag and someone runs right across my face. You're going to give up a touchdown. So you want to start using with positions that are of the littlest importance. So a flat zone. Flat zones can be dangerous sometimes because sometimes you have a running back out here that can cut it up the field for 10, 15 yards. But like I said, risk and reward. So I'm taking him in a flat zone. First thing I see is this guy bubble out. Who did I end up switching to? I pressed the B button. I'm not sure what happened in this replay. But I saw him bubbling out. So the first thing I thought was this going to be some kind of bubble screen with a slant route or something like that. So I'm patrolling, guys going out for the flats, and the quarterback immediately took out running. I've never seen this play before, but I immediately attacked the QB, and I think he gained 2 yards from a weak tackle. Once again, that just comes from reading the play,
Shake this guy.
reading the first step off the line of scrimmage. This has a fullback in the formation. I know they're not going to run it on 3rd and 8. I'll come out on a cover 3, and I'm going to use this guy right here. Coming across the middle. He's going to probably try to throw it here. He didn't. As long as I keep him from making the first down, which I didn't because the game's on Heisman and they always break that tackle. But I think that was pretty good coverage right there. I used it number 22 right here. And nothing came to my side of the field originally. So first thing I did was bite towards the strong side of the field. 21 comes on a slant route. As soon as I see this slant route, I immediately go to occupy my zone because either he has to come through my zone or he stops right here. So computer could have possibly thrown the curl route right there, or a user could have thrown the curl route right there. If it was a user, he would have probably thrown the curl and it would have probably been successful. Or he would have waited a second too long and threw it right here. And as I'm coming back to this route, which is in the middle of the field, he would have thrown a pick. I don't too much try to run from right here all the way to the right side of the field because there's no way I'll make it, and his first read, I'm sure, is going to be in the middle of the field. So he doesn't throw it to the middle of the field. He throws it flat. I get the tackle, but it's on Heisman, and he breaks the tackle. You can't stop everything. I was in position to stop it. I just didn't execute. So they're going to come back out, and there's 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end set again. I'm going to come out in the nickel. Nickel 2-man under. It seems to be getting the job done. They probably won't get this play off. So they have a tight end lined up over here by himself. I'm going to use it as safety on the tight end side because that's the less dangerous side of the field. Same formation again, or same personnel, which makes me think it'll be the same formation. I'm going to come out on the less. I'll try this side of the field. Tight end's going to come back to the middle. I knew that because I know that route. It's a clown route. And you learn that from just playing the game. I've seen this route 100 times. He does this funky little cut inside that doesn't even look realistic. And then he bounces back outside. So my first mind was to cover this clown route. But he hits the, I guess it was a drag. He hits the drag route, or no, it wasn't a drag route. It was some funky little route. But it came right to the middle of the field. Very minimal gain. I can live with that. Can't stop everything. I won't say that enough. Can't say it enough. So I'm going to show you a cover 3 right here.
From the 50.
And I'm going to play on a strong safety who's in the blue zone. It's not too dangerous. Sometimes I like to come over here, and you can press RB and press cover the receiver right in front of you. So I was going to press the tight end, but the tight end blocked, so it's nothing to press. They're going to run the ball right here, so I'm going to come out in one of my favorite run plays, 3-4 predator pinch. I'm hoping they run it up the gut. I was wrong, but once you guess wrong, you have to commit to it. Had I not committed to it, he would have probably easily have gotten the first down. Because the guy that I blitzed with was guarding the running back, and it looks like the running back was running a little curl route, and they probably would have gotten it. So being as that